You're up.
All right, well, thank you all for inviting me. This is great. I can't decide if I'm going to go the liar route or the bragger route. So I'm gonna go bragger, I think. That might remind me lie a little bit. And he was lying about the downriver swim being short in Chattanooga. That is not true. And there is wind out there. I am certain of it because I felt it. But it was pushing me, so it felt really good. I have to go back a little bit. So I started training for this. You know, my son and I went to Chattanooga last year. He's 10. He's 11 now. He was 10 then. We volunteered, had a great time, got swept up into the emotion, and so I signed up the next morning. And I did that on purpose because I didn't get in. You know, that first year that you had 30 seconds to get in or whatever. But anyway, so I've been doing this for 3 years. I've never ridden at this point past 25 miles on the bike. I've done two marathons only one marathon at that point. But I had done Mountain Mist. And I figure if you can do that, you can do anything. and that's going to play into my story a little bit. So fast forward, I'm training pretty well, and then I hit the middle of the summer, and I have some things happen that just get me way off my game. I mean, I had some stuff at work happen. I had some stuff in my personal life happen. I just say, I'm out. I'm done. I'm not going to train for that. I just don't have time for this. I got to focus on other things that are more important. So fast forward 6 weeks, I've done nothing. Zero. Absolutely nothing. I did not run, I did not bike, I did not swim. Not a single day. I went to the Huntsville Sprint because my son was doing it, who's 11 now. And I see Greg, and I was like, man, I'm out. He's like, man, wait, you're fired up, you're getting ready. No, I'm not. I'm out. He's like, what do you mean you're out? I'm out. He's like, you already paid your money, right? And I said, yeah. And he goes, why don't you just go try? And I was like, that was the first time in 6 weeks that I thought, maybe I will. So David, my son, does the race, and I get all fired up again. I'm like, man, I got to do this. I can do it. So I go ride my bike that day, 25 miles, and I swim a mile that day, which was a Saturday. And I decided, all right, well, I got 6 weeks. Maybe 5 weeks at that point. 5 weeks at that point. And I still have never ridden past, I rode 50 miles one time with Dana before that, one time. And I thought, let me go see if I can ride 50. So that Friday, I rode 25 that day. That Friday, I called Dana. I was like, hey, when are you riding? So I had nobody to ride with. And she said, I'm going to ride Friday morning. So I rode Friday morning, 50 miles. I was like, oh, that's not too bad. When are you going to ride again? And I think the next week. Yeah, and how far? I got to go farther. I mean, can we do 75? Yes. So we get out there, and we're riding, and she's like, you've done Mountain Mist, right? And I'm like, yeah, I've done it twice. And she's like, if you can do that, you can do anything. I said, I totally agree. I totally agree with that. I mean, at this point, I'm not running yet. I'm like, I'm going to swim, and I'm going to bike. Because I can run. I mean, I know if I can get to the run, I can run. I'm not worried about that. The last time I had ran past 6 miles, no, I take that back. Yeah, past 6 miles was Mountain Mist. I had not run past 6 miles. Now, I did a couple of Olympics, through the summer. By the way, I do have one story that will somewhat compare to your freezing cold one, and it is your race. 3 hours ago, where I came into transition, and my hands were just like the Kung Fu grip when I was a kid, and I sat down on the ground, and I don't know who was, there was a lady in transition, and I said, I can't take my shoes off. I cannot do it.
I bought my fingers.
Hey, good for you. No one helped me.
She said,
no one helped
I will
me.
take them off. And I said, but I can't put my running shoes on. And she put them on and tied them for me, and I ran out. So, hey, just for the record, it was brutal. I've never ridden in anything that cold in my life. But anyway, so back to my story. So,
me neither.
That day that we were doing 75, I made it 68. Dana knew that I was dying. We got like halfway back up Bailey Cove. I pulled into I go to church right over here at Mayfair. I pulled in and I called my wife and I said, "You have to come and get me. I can't." And I lived, like one mile from Mayfair. I was like, I'm not climbing another hill. I don't care if it's got 100 feet of climb. I can't do it. And I'm really starting to go, I don't know about this. Well, like a week later, I was up in Newmarket, Tennessee. Now Alabama. And I thought, I wonder how far it is from home. I had my bike, and so I made this course, and I rode 88 miles, all over into New Hope and all that in there, and back up here. And the wind was right in my face. I thought, man, if I can do 88 miles, I can do this race. So I'm gonna get to the race day now. I never ran more than 6 miles, but thank you, Greg, for telling me that I could do it. Thank you, Dana, for telling me that I could do it. So I get to race day. I get up that morning. I'm sort of all over the place too. I'm not real regimented like you said you're not either. I'm not either. So I get up, I go downstairs, I pound 2 cups of coffee, go clean my system out. I get back and I eat probably 5 of those really great little, sort of like the little turnovers that you can get. They get like, really good berry kind of stuff in there. So I eat like 5 of those. Give me another cup of coffee and I go down, everything's good. So I run into this kid that lived 3 houses down from me in Tuscaloosa. I grew up in Tuscaloosa. Hadn't seen him in 40 years. Maybe 35. And he's got like on this USA, the name on the front, and all this stuff. And he's got a $12,000 bike. And I'm like, oh man, what is Derek Wilson doing here? So we get out, I do the swim in like an hour and 10 minutes. And I'd been swimming. I knew I could probably could do that. It was downriver. I'm not buying in that it was short. So I get on the bike, and the first lap, dude, I smoked it. Like 20 miles an hour on the first, 25 miles, and then 22 miles an hour on the second. I've never done that in my life. But my goal was to stop. I had packed 2 Coca-Colas, 4 Reese's peanut butter cups, and 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I roll into that little town. Everybody's going crazy. I hop off my bike, and there's a guy that works here standing there. He's like, he's like this close to me. I'm like, man, I know you from Huntsville. And he's like, yeah. He's talking. And I pop over those Cokes, and I pound them down, and I eat those Reese's. Well, I stuck one in my back pocket. I pounded one. I ate those Reese's peanut butter cups, and I rolled out of there drinking a Coke. Everybody was laughing at me, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm drinking a Coke. I'm having fun. And so I rolled the second half, ended up at like 18 miles an hour, which was right where I thought I could, probably do it. My second little loop was much slower because I stopped and got off the bike. So I get into the run, and I run into this guy a week before the race, and he said, hey, I think you should do a run walk. And I don't like to walk. Can't stand to walk. It drives me crazy, but I do hit walls when I walk, and it makes me think I need to keep walking. So I did a 6-on-1, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1. He goes, if you'll do it, you'll pass a ton of people in the second half of the race. And I totally did. I passed a ton of people. And it just made me get faster and faster and faster and faster. And I ran into all kinds of people from Huntsville that I didn't even really know, but they had on, Fleet Feet Huntsville. Man, you're from Huntsville. Who are you? We get to talking. And so I had no expectation. And I didn't try to kill myself, and it just worked. And I ended up doing a 12 hours and 40 minutes. Wow. Thank y'all for letting me tell that. No one else understands in my life, no one else. So thank y'all for letting me tell that.
Great job.